Terrible start. I don't know. The fire alarm skewed me, man. I'm not even in there to hear it go off.
Yeah, that was an interesting start to the day.
Yeah, not necessary. That's for sure. Nobody needs blaring noise at 9:30 a.m.
I did forget my coffee this morning, so that helped wake me up.
Ooh, even worse. I'd rather have the fire, I think. 13 game slate ahead of us today. We actually have pitching, and like a lot of it, not a lot of guys in great matchups, and an unfortunate amount of value that is in play today from a pitching perspective. I'm really anxious to get your thoughts, but first, let's get the plugs out of the way. MLB Strategy is the promo code, 50% off your first month of Awesemo Plus. If you want to get access to everything we've got to offer, sign up with us. Use the promo code MLB Strategy. One big word. You can get 15% off that platinum package. We are brought to you by Yahoo Sports. Yahoo is the presenting sponsor of this show, The Deeper Dive, and The Early Bird, of which I was on last night. Shout out to me. Yahoo running just fantastic contests right now for both MLB and NFL. They run the no management fee contests in MLB almost every day. They've got another Millionaire Baller going for NFL Week 2. 150 max entries for that one. 10 max across the rest of their contests, but 150 max and no CSV. So I feel like if I wanted to play 150 in there, I would need about 2 hours to enter all of them without moving, and I assume Adderall or something. But yeah, it can be done. It can be done. You can type in names and hit enter, and they'll automatically go in. That's very helpful. Speeds up the process.
Are you doing it?
Entering 150?
Yeah.
No, but I'm entering a lot.
I'm planning on 150.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't you should. Let's be clear here. That's a great contest to put 150 lineups into. Full stop. I don't know if I have the patience to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I also was planning on rewatching every NFL game this week, and I made it through like 2. So maybe I don't. But
let me know when you get to 50 and you stop. Yeah. Look, it's a fantastic contest. I wouldn't be surprised if it overlays. It was significant last week. I don't get the sense that there's going to be a lot of people entering 150. It's a really, the payout structure is fantastic, nice and flat. You don't need to do much into the top section of the contest to really pay out. Just go there. I'll drop the link to Emacs Spotlight Hitters and Stacks article into YouTube chat right now. Some information on how to sign up at Yahoo. Click that link, use the promo code Awesemo, and get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports Rewards points. That's at least one entry into the Millionaire Baller, or, put 10 into their $3 contest. I believe they have a $3 no management fee for NFL as well. Could be filled at this point, but just go check them out. Thanks to the guys at Yahoo Sports. I've got last night's $15 up from DraftKings in lineup study. Not a great night for Tyler Mahle.
No.
6 fantasy points. Yeah, you had 88%.
Yeah.
I had
strikeouts were there.
Yeah, I had 40 and change on FanDuel, so that didn't go very well either. Verlander tried to have a bad day, still got to 25 because he was mowing down everybody that wasn't hitting a dong.
Right.
Which is
he kind of did the same thing as Mahle, except he just went a lot further than Mahle did.
Yeah. $4,500 JD Martinez, heavily owned by you, heavily owned by Alex. Got to 13. I guess that'll work. Highest scoring player on the slate yesterday, pitcher or hitter, Anthony Rendon at 29. That is not a lot of points.
It is not.
That's very flat.
I had a lot of him. It almost worked.
You did have a lot of him, 20% in fact. Alex had 8. Field was at 3. Third highest score, Ronald Acuna, happened to be my dong pick. Moving forward up that list, tops in pick rate, which is all that matters to me because that's the only thing I'm winning in. I'll take what I can get. Top stack last night, you needed to have the Reds. I nerfed them a little bit right before lock, so felt really good there. Really helpful. Every lineup in the top 20 outside of one has some sort of form of a red stack. How'd you feel about the Reds yesterday?
That doesn't piss me off at all. I thought they were going to be overowned, which it looks like they probably were. yeah, I mean, it's a terrible park to hit in. It was a good matchup, but there were tons of good matchups on the slate. I don't think I had any.
Like legitimately any?
Maybe. I mean, I know I had like 10% Suarez, but I'm not sure that I had any red stacks.
Let's find out. You probably had one or two.
Yeah, that's possible.
That's the extent of it. Let's filter here on Ship My Money's lineups. And we'll filter on... How do I do this? I know there's a way to do this. Well, let's just see primary stacks first and foremost. You had two 5-man Cincies and two 4-man Cincies.
Yeah.
4-man Cincy got you to 55th. Verlander, Molly, 4-man Reds, Lux, JD, Mookie, Bradley. Not bad. It's not enough, but it's not bad.
Yeah. Yes, I know my best was Nats and Braves.
Yes. Nats made up a large chunk of profit. Braves did not. But what was the Nats lineup that paid you? Oh, a lot of them. A lot of Nats. Only one. So you had 19 5-man Nat stacks. Only one of them came with the Reds. Not helpful.
I didn't know I had any.
Yeah. Just one. In 4-mans, no Reds. We've got a ton to talk about. We got an hour and 15 minutes to get through it. For those of you that are curious what the Friday schedule is going to look like, let's run through it now. Coming up immediately after this, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, Chris Randone, Manny Laura, talking some Fantasy Cruncher settings for Week 2 in the NFL. Noon Eastern Time, Ben Rasa, Jordan Frank, talking NFL best bets. We will have the Yahoo specific strategy show. Alex Baker, Nolan Kelly coming up at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. At 5 Eastern, Adam and Spags will be up for the deeper dive, giving Laffy a little bit of a break. And then Live Before Lock, myself and Jay Kari coming up at 6 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow we will have MLB strategy show, NFL strategy show, and on the contrary, at 2:30 Eastern, I'll let our Twitter handle announce the guest. Ready to talk 13 games? Pitching's loaded, sort of.
Yeah, we know where the pitching's been for the last 2 days.
Yeah, but like none of it stands out, and that's the trickiest part. Or at least it didn't stand out to me last night and this morning.
Yeah, no, I agree.
We get any ownership yet? Negative. Okay, so let's move forward. What?
There's a couple I think stand out.
At the top or the bottom?
Both.
All right, we'll get there. I mean, I don't disagree, but it's not. They stand out more than others. We'll talk about it. Nats and Braves. 4.5 run implied total for the Nats. 3.5 for the Braves. Full schedule. Oh, yeah, there we go. Max Scherzer, Mike Soroka. Scherzer, $57 on Yahoo, 10.4 on FanDuel, 11.4 on DraftKings. Soroka priced as he normally is. I don't really have... Well, okay. First and foremost, I have no interest in Mike Soroka. Secondly, how do you feel about Scherzer? What do you think his upside can be today? What do we think we're doing here?
I think that he's interesting because he's back to being essentially fully stretched out. He threw 98 pitches in his last start, 90 in the one prior to that. And you're getting a bit of a price discount from Garrett Cole to Max Scherzer. Obviously, Scherzer has monster upside. Not a great matchup against the Braves. Nick Markakis may be back in the lineup for Atlanta, which is another low strikeout bat. Like if you were replacing Austin Riley with Nick Markakis, that's a pretty sizable downgrade to strikeout projection for Scherzer in that spot. But it's still Max Scherzer. He's still really good. I think that I prefer Cole, but the salary is enough to where in some lineups you're just going to get Scherzer.
The perfect way to say that. I prefer Cole as well. That doesn't mean that I don't like Scherzer. I like Scherzer second most of everyone here. Although I mentioned this on the early bird, and we'll get to it eventually. Charlie Morton's my interest in Charlie Morton will hinge very largely on whether or not Mike Trout really is in the lineup or not. Because if he's not, and it's no Trout, no Ohtani, Morton looks a lot better.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
That will, it'll swing the line. I've seen lines where Trout ends up out, and it drops from, let's say, -160 to -130. It'll move in Morton's favor pretty sizably. He's supposed to be back today. I'm anticipating him back, but if we get that lineup at 640 and Trout's not in, I expect Morton to look pretty good. I'm okay with Scherzer, but this just really isn't a good spot.
Yeah, it's the thing is that the salary is favorable. Like Scherzer is normally $12K when he's fully stretched out, so you are getting a little bit of a discount. If Garrett Cole weren't on the slate, I would really like Scherzer.
And another thing that I mentioned last night, I still don't think that they're just going to pump him out there the same way that they normally would have.
Yeah, that's entirely possible.
Like if he's got 95 pitches through 6, I don't get the sense that he's going to throw the 7th.
Sure.
Whereas, 3 months ago, he's just like, no, I'm going to keep going. Because he doesn't give a shit at all. Do you anticipate getting any bats here? I don't really want anybody on either side.
I don't think so. The Nats are a team that I'm always willing to play in tournaments because they never have ownership or almost never have ownership, and they have a ton of upside. But Soroka's a tough matchup. Really good ground ball pitcher. Really good at limiting barrels. I think he's second among qualified starters. Definitely in the top 5 in barrels per batted ball percentage. So just not really appealing there. And then, of course, with Scherzer, just a really tough matchup. Freddie Freeman is discounted at 4,500. The problem is just that there are so many good first basemen. You're still, paying a lot in terms of opportunity costs to roster someone against Max Scherzer.
Yeah, I would imagine I have no one in this game outside of like pure randomness showing up as one-off stuff. It's not for me. Be a fun game to go see. Blue Jays and Yankees. 4.4 run implied total for the Jays, 6.1 for the Yanks. Anthony K versus Masahiro Tanaka. I can't imagine that we are interested in Anthony K, but I think we probably have a little bit of interest in Masahiro Tanaka. $38 on Yahoo, $8,300 on FanDuel, $7,500 on DraftKings. I think he's the best pitcher in the mid-tier today. How do you feel about him?
Yeah. There's just pitchers that are cheaper that I like more.
I
also think I like Wainwright more than Tanaka.
I can see it. Those are the two for me. So
yeah, like Tanaka, it's not like it would be crazy if Tanaka has a big game here. Toronto's given plenty of those, but this is also a good park or the best park for home runs. Toronto has plenty of power in their lineup. Tanaka's strikeouts this year have essentially been non-existent by his standards. So, can he beat this price tag? Absolutely. But do I think it's very likely? No. And he's not my favorite guy in the price range, and I like other guys cheaper than him more. So not a priority for me.
I think he's going to get some ownership too, which will make it a little bit easier to get away from him. Would you think that? I would assume that Tanaka gets more ownership than Wainwright. What do you think?
Probably.
Okay. It makes it a little bit easier there. Doesn't really matter how much you really have interest in Tanaka because the real appeal in this game are Yankee bats. They look incredible to me. 6.1 run implied total. Not a single hitter on DraftKings over $4,900. 8 righties in the projected lineup against the lefty in K. I wouldn't be surprised if the Yankees are my top stack.
Yeah, the downside is that you're once again missing Encarnacion and Gary Sanchez.
Yeah.
But that does make them a little easier to stack since you don't have Voit and Encarnacion both in the middle of the order. It's a watered down Yankees lineup, but the top part with LeMahieu, Judge, Torres, Voit is still really good.
Yeah, Judge 4,400. It's going to be hard for me to not have a really overwhelming amount of him. Torres with dual eligibility at 46, unavoidable at 4K. Like I'd rather have Luke Voit than Freddie Freeman, and so there's a quick example of how quickly it makes it difficult to want to go to Freeman. There's not a piece of the Yankees lineup that I don't want on DK. They're a little bit more pricey at the top on FanDuel. Judge has the same price on both sites. Judge and Torres both over $20 on Yahoo, but with a 6-run implied total and this matchup against K, who I believe is making his debut, I'm I'm all over the Yanks. Favorite Yanks bat?
Judge.
Okay. Yeah, has to be, I think. Clint Frazier, 2,700 on FanDuel is kind of interesting if you need to stack them up. Do you want any Blue Jays bats against Tanaka?
I think that they're interesting just because they're so cheap and they have so much power. Guerrero is still 3,800. Tellez and Smoke are cheap. Grichuk's cheap. Tanaka is not striking out a lot of guys this year. He's given up 1.4 home runs per 9. I don't think it's a super appealing stack, although they are cheap enough that I could see if you're paying up for 2 pitchers. But as far as one-offs and filler, I think they give you a lot of upside.
Anthony Kay not making his debut, pitched against the Rays.
Yeah.
Is there another guy on the slate making his debut today?
I don't know.
I added someone to my sheet. When he pitched against the Rays, did that happen on a day where there was no
Anthony
MLB?
Kay was on a really short slate.
Okay, that makes sense. That's why I never added him.
Yeah.
He's making his debut for me. That's really all that matters as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, if it doesn't happen on a slate that I don't have a show on, that's not real life. Favorite bat from the Jays?
Guerrero.
Okay. I want to say Tellez, but there's just so many first basemen.
Yeah, exactly.
Tellez in a vacuum. Tigers and Orioles. 4.8 run implied total for the Tigers. 4.7 for the O's. Jordan Zimmerman versus Aaron Brooks. All right, we're into the slop battle royal. Jordan Zimmerman 4,700. Aaron Brooks 4,300. I think Brooks is a really nice value today. Arguably my second favorite value, and Zimmerman is not far behind. Kill me now. I don't know what to say. I'm going to have a lot of both of these guys because of the pitching at the top.
Yeah, I think that they both are good values. I pretty strongly prefer Brooks, though. The Tigers are just so much worse offensively than the Orioles are.
I agree.
That I think neither pitcher is any good, but Brooks is a little bit cheaper, and the Tigers are really bad, as the Orioles really aren't from an offensive standpoint.
This is disgusting. If I said over under, Covey might fuck this up. Over under 50% total exposure to Zimmerman plus Brooks. For you, not for the public.
To Zimmerman and Brooks?
Yeah.
Under.
Okay. Because of our boy Dylan at the bottom?
No.
Oh, well, we'll get there, I guess. I would guess that I have more than 50%. I would guess I have more than 50% easily of Zimmerman, Brooks, and our boy Dylan here. Oh my God, today is going to be awful. I love it.
Yeah, I guess maybe. Like, now that I think about how cheap they really are.
I mean, who else are you going to, like... I mean,
Beede.
Hauser looks like a great value. Kikuchi looks like a great value. I like Tyler Beede a lot. I might have 150% of my ownership just going to guys under 6,300.
Right, yeah. I mean, if you include those guys, it might be like every lineup.
Yeah. It's going to be really staggering. September baseball. Aaron Brooks, Jordan Zimmerman, come on down. Print that money. Oof. If you had to pick a set of bats in this game, are you preferring the Tigers or the O's?
O's. Mancini's above average. VR's above average. Santander's above average. Nunez has power. Alberto's an okay hitter. Stewart's okay. Like, the Tigers just have nothing except for Kristen Stewart.
Maggie.
Yeah.
He'll get shouted out by Alex today, I'm sure. Candelario, just looking there, 3,300. Get him back in that leadoff spot. I'm gonna have both of these teams and both pitchers. This is disgusting. I don't know how to manage this. Like, Jake Rogers is 2,600. He might be my favorite play in the game. It's not supposed to be like that. I'm not supposed to look at this and think, I'm going to get a decent amount of the 8-hole hitter for the Tigers today. But I think that I'm going to. I'm going to have both sides. Will you get to Tigers against Brooks?
Probably not.
Okay.
I expect that they'll just be popular because they're so cheap and they have a 4.8 implied run total, but they suck.
They do suck. Favorite Orioles hitter?
Santander. Or Mancini. Or VR.
Great job answering that one, man.
I think it's Santander.
Favorite hitter? Him or him or him? Fantastic. Great content.
Santander is my favorite hitter. VR just offers the stolen base upside.
Is he your favorite hitter just because you like saying Santander instead of Santander?
No. Do you know how good his numbers actually are this year?
No.
I think I've said it on like 3 straight shows now. He has like a 120 WRC plus and like a 220 ISO or something.
I do remember you saying that actually, but let me pull it up so that I can see it myself.
Unless I'm making that up, which is entirely possible.
He has a 106 weighted runs created plus and a 220 ISO.
Okay, yeah, so I was conflating the ISO with the WRC plus, but close enough.
Yeah, I mean that's still, an above average hitter with a lot of pop. Let's see if there's anything that points to that being nonsense. Yeah. Looks solid.
He's only 24 too.
Huh. Santander looking good. Is your favorite Tigers bat Kristen Stewart?
Yep.
Okay. You're not going to go on the Jake Rogers train with me?
I think he's a good value.
Okay. That's all I needed to hear. Indians and Twins, 4.6 run implied total for the Indians, 4.9 for the Twins. Aaron Savali, Jake Odorizzi. This one feels pretty easy. I don't want to get to either one of these pitchers. There's just too many guys in the bottom tier of pitching that I want to get to. I'm not looking to get to the mid-range with Savali or 9K for Odorizzi.
Yeah, I agree. There's just cheaper pitching that I can feel just as uncomfortable about. Both of these offenses are good. Yeah, I'm just not interested in the pitching.
Yep, we're on the same page. The Indians have some better pricing. Obviously, the Twins have game-changing power up and down the lineup outside of Arias. I mean, do you want to go check and see that you're not on fire again? Okay. I'll talk through some of this Indians-Twins game. That's exact, guys, just so in case you're curious, just before I was about to click start streaming, before this started, Adam got that exact same fire alarm buzz. So scared the living heck out of both of us right out of the gate, but his building was not on fire at that point in time. Let's go ahead and hope that it's not now. Indians, I think, are a much better value than the Twins today. Lots of guys just priced up. Mitch Garver at 5,500 on DK. I'm happy to have either side of this. I don't get the sense that I'll have a ton of either team, though. I've got respect for Odorizzi. I've got mild respect for Savali. Like, neither of these guys are gas cans or anything like that. I'm happy to get to Puig, Kipnis, Reyes, Carlos Santana, Lindor. Like, I'll have a little bit of those guys. On the Twins side, Eddie Rosario continues to look good, 4,400. Kepler in the leadoff spot at 4,900. That's just his Pornhub alert for a new video. Like, great, that's good. Ultimately, I think this game is pretty much just a stay away across the board. Grab a couple Twins for one-off dong power. Grab a couple of these Indians guys for some one-off dong power, but I'm not sure that I want to stack up the game. There's just too many other spots with 5+ run implied totals that I think are a little bit better. Yo, maybe the building is on fire. Still no shit my money. Probably going down like, yo, are you going to keep setting this alarm up? There he is. No fire?
No, just same stuff as before, I guess.
Cool. No fire is good. My ultimate thoughts on Indians Twins are that I really don't get the sense I'm going to have much of either team. Twins are kind of expensive. Indians have to face Odorizzi, who I think is solid at the very least. And I think there's just better offensive environments out there. I like a couple of these guys as one-offs because there's so much power, but I don't get the sense that this is a stack game for me.
You still on the Indians?
Either team.
Yeah, same boat.
Favorite Indians bat?
Puig.
Agreed.
Right-handed power against Odorizzi is where I really like to target, so Puig and Reyes.
Yeah, I agree. Twins?
Looks like a lot of their good hitters are questionable, but if actually, I guess it doesn't really matter. Rosario at 4,400.
Yep, agreed. That's the same thing I said. Mitch Garver being 5,500 is really tough to stomach.
What about 5,800
Is that what he is?
on DraftKings?
I have 5,500.
No, you're probably right because the site I'm looking at is checked out months ago.
Is that awesemo.com?
It's not.
I mean, sometimes I forget to click the refresh button on my CSV import, so I want to double check that. I don't have a draft.
Yeah, 55.
55?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, 58 would have been rough. Pepe Sylvia says, ship my fire alarm. But Mike Gray won when the alert went off. He said, that's just his Pornhub alert for a new video. God, it would never stop going off. Mets and Dodgers. 3.6 run implied total for the Mets, 3.9 for the Dodgers. I think this is going to be a pretty quick one. Noah Syndergaard going for the Mets. Clayton Kershaw going for the Dodgers. Oh, by the way, you had me dying yesterday. Who pitched for the Dodgers? Something came up about you going to like scout out the Dodgers in Baltimore, and you made a joke about like playing ping pong with someone from the Dodgers, I guess.
Oh yeah.
I was dying laughing. You didn't play croquet with Ginger Guard yesterday or anything?
No, not.
Oh man, it killed me. Syndergaard going for the Mets, Clayton Kershaw going for the Dodgers. I think Syndergaard's price is the best thing that's going on here. He's 40 on Yahoo, which I think even against the Dodgers just sort of needs to be looked at a little bit. But ultimately, I don't want either pitcher, and I don't really want any of the bats in the game either.
Yeah, I think the game's really interesting because as much as I say Syndergaard sucks, I mean, he obviously is a good pitcher. And when his price tag comes down, you have to consider him. But it is a really tough matchup against the Dodgers, and I just don't think it's totally necessary on this slate. On the other side with Kershaw, it's a matchup that I don't really like against the Mets, but his price tag is really affordable. I know he's coming off of back-to-back poor starts, but we've seen his strikeout numbers really skyrocket over the last, or like basically the second half of the season as he started to throw his slider better, getting more depth on it, getting a ton more strikeouts. So with his price tag coming down, I think it's kind of interesting, but it's still a matchup that I don't really like. And because it's Clayton Kershaw at 10,800 on DraftKings, I assume he's going to get ownership anyway.
I don't think that he is. I would be surprised if he did.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. Do you think that he'll get more ownership than Max Scherzer?
I think it's probably comparable.
Cole?
No.
I mean, what do you think that he's like 10?
Yeah, I guess like 10, 15.
Okay. Yeah, that I don't get the sense that I get to anything here. Kike's $9 on Yahoo. That's probably the best value of anything that's here. What do you think of Syndergaard at 40 on Yahoo?
It really comes down to what the pricing is on other pitchers. So, like, he's 40, which is obviously good. Where is
Cole is 64. Scherzer is 57. Kershaw is 51. So he's $11 cheaper than Kershaw. I think he's probably the best value, honestly.
Would you rather roster him at 40 or Castillo at 45? Yeah, I mean he is.
It's a toss up.
Yeah, he's a good Yahoo play, I guess.
Like, we know that he's facing the Dodgers, and that's not really appealing. But knowing that Noah Syndergaard is $40, he's a better pitcher than $40.
Yeah, I agree.
You're not going to be comforted by that, and like you're not generally trying to target him for the Dodgers. But I think they priced him lower than they should have. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a lot of ownership on Yahoo. Because Cole at 64 is just real tough.
Yeah,
and 57 for Scherzer isn't much better. Yeah.
I think 51 for Kershaw on Yahoo is really appealing.
Yeah, I agree. I like that the most of. Well, I probably like Castillo more than that, though. It's weird.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Everything's weird. All of these guys are in like the same matchup in that none of them are really good.
Right.
Is there a single bat you want here?
No.
Okay. We are through the 7 o'clock games. Perfect time for everybody to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when we go live. That's it. That's the plug. Do all that stuff. Follow Osimo_com on Twitter. Follow at Osimo MLB on Twitter. Follow Adam and I on Twitter. Our handles are under our heads. Rangers and A's. 4.9 run implied total for the Rangers. 6 for the A's. Brock Burke and Chris Bassett. I mentioned these A's yesterday on the early bird. I think they stand out a lot, particularly against Burke in Texas. I assume Colorado and San Diego will be a little chalky. I really, really like Oakland here. I think that we're safe in skipping Burke and Bassett.
Yeah, I'm not on the pitching. I'm with you on Oakland. 6.5 implied run total right now. Burke doesn't seem like I don't think that he's necessarily a guy that I am shying away from with bats like Oakland has and a huge park upgrade. Going against Texas, Chris Davis is still really cheap. Kana is affordable. So is Chapman. Just a really good spot for Oakland.
There we go. Semien being 5,400 is not appealing, but it also works if he's in the leadoff spot. Pinder, Chris Davis, just incredible value to fill out this stack. There's really not a piece of the A's lineup that I don't like, and they are crazy cheap on FanDuel. I like them even more on FanDuel than I do on DraftKings. Pinder, $7 on Yahoo as well. Sheldon Noose is $7 on Yahoo if you need a bargain basement second baseman. I wouldn't be I think that I'll have a ton of the Yankees and A's if the Rockies and Padres soak up a lot about it. Soak up a lot of the ownership.
Yeah, I agree with
that. Give me your favorite A's bat.
Davis.
Yeah. How long do you think it'll be before that's not our answer?
2021.
Okay, that's fair. I hope I assume Tango Tiger has not updated that tweet yet, but curious if Chris Davis is still tracking his ability to hit 247 again this year. Did you see that tweet that I put in our MLB channel like a week ago?
No.
Tango Tiger plotted out what he would need to hit at every potential plate appearance amount from like 1 to 125, however many he thought he could get over that set of games to see like what he would need to hit in that span to finish at 247. It was,
how likely was it?
Not very likely. He needed to go on a bit of a tear. Like he needed to go like 15 for 30 and stop playing to do it, or hit like 350 in the final 100 at bat. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But
Chapman's a really good play too.
Very much agree. Rangers bats against Bassett. Jeff Mathis is 2K.
I like Calhoun. He's 4,400. Has the platoon advantage. Bassett against lefties this year is a lot of 188 ISO compared to 135 to righties. So I think Calhoun, Mazzara are the most appealing. I think Calhoun's my favorite out of the group.
Yeah, I don't want to sleep on the Rangers too much. 4.9 run implied total is not too shabby for a team that's a pretty sizable underdog. I'm not really all that worried about Bassett. So lefty power works for me. Anybody else we should touch? Odor, 4,200, not that appealing, but $12 on Yahoo I think kind of looks nice in this spot, and I assume he goes completely unowned.
Sure.
That's it here. That's not how you spell Cardinals either. Cardinals and Brewers, 4.1 run implied total for the Cards, 3.8 for the Brewers. Really? Those are the totals? That can't be right. There's no way I typed that incorrectly.
No, you're right.
Really? It was an 8 total?
Yeah.
Okay. Adam Wainwright and Adrian Hauser. You touched on Wainwright earlier. He's $30 on Yahoo, $7,600 on FanDuel, $7,800 on DraftKings. The $30 price on Yahoo is really good. I think that's a fantastic value there. Probably my favorite pay down option on Yahoo. Meanwhile, Hauser $36 on Yahoo, $6,400 on FanDuel, $5,700 on DraftKings. I like Hauser more than I like Wainwright. That's not to say that I don't like Wainwright. I anticipate having both guys, but I assume I have more Hauser. Talk to me about whoever you would like to talk to me about.
I don't know that I'll get much of either, but I have some interest in both. Like Wainwright, as I'd said before, is my favorite of the mid-range guys. I don't know how often I get there from a roster construction standpoint. The top of the order for Milwaukee scares me, assuming that it's Grisham, Grandal, Moustakas. But then after that, it's not really that bad. Wainwright's been much better against righties than lefties this year. He struck out about 22.5% of righties, not allowing much power. So not overly concerned about Braun or Kane. Thames can certainly go deep, but then Spangenberg's a below average lefty, and then Arcia is right-handed and the pitcher's right-handed. So if he can kind of just mitigate damage at the top of the order, I think that it's an okay spot for him. And then there's always a chance too, obviously, that Milwaukee runs out a worse lineup than we're expecting. But I think that no Yelich makes it a pretty decent spot for Wainwright. On the other side, Hauser, I think, is a perfectly fine play. It's just not a great strikeout matchup against the Cardinals. Their lineup is basically fully healthy now. And I just would rather be getting to like Tyler Beede or saving money.
I get that. I have Hauser and Beede essentially equal. So I don't really know how that'll shake out. I would guess that I get more Hauser than Beede just because he's cheaper. But we'll see how that plays out once we get ownership and I can actually refresh my crunch.
Beede's my Tyler Mahle tonight, where I would be shocked if he's not my highest owned pitcher.
I understand the sentiment there, that's for sure. He grades out really well. The problem is there are just so many sizable values even below that price tag that I don't really know how it comes out. I mean, I might be spending... There are scenarios... I will probably have more than a few lineups where I have like Hauser, like 10K in pitching. Hauser Brooks. That's so much. That's so cheap. Oh my god. So given the two, would you pick Wainwright over Hauser?
Yeah.
Okay. I would go to Hauser over Wainwright, barring any really crazy ownership. But I like both guys. I think they're both decent values. I just don't see myself being anywhere in that middle section where Wainwright's hanging out.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. From a roster construction standpoint, I don't know how often I get there. I just don't know. I mean, how deep does Hauser go? Like, he went 4 innings last time out, 67 pitches. Before that, he threw 98 on September 2nd. So I guess he's pretty stretched out, but it just seems like he probably doesn't go that deep into this game.
I gave him 5.2 innings. His outs prop is at 15.5 with slight action going to the over. So that would be putting him at that 5.2 number.
Yeah.
Any bats here? I mean, I'm more likely to get to the Brewers than the Cardinals, I think. But there's just, with these run totals, it's really hard to sell one of these teams today.
Yeah, I mean, Grandal, Grisham, Moustakas are the only bats here that really stand out. And I think I had Hauser under projected a little bit where I had his innings. So I do think I like him more than Wainwright, factoring in the price. Yeah. But it's still like I don't have him anywhere close to Beede.
Okay. Favorite bat whole game?
Grandal.
God, I don't know if I have an answer. Moose tacos, maybe? I don't know. I don't ignore this game from an offense perspective. That's my advice. Royals and Astros. 3.1 run implied total for the Royals, 5.8 for the Astros. Danny Duffy and Garrett Cole. We're not rostering Danny Duffy, but is Cole the top arm?
Yeah, I don't think it's particularly close.
Yeah, same.
In terms of, projection. Like, he's the best strikeout pitcher in baseball, best strikeout starter in baseball. He's got a good matchup against Kansas City. They probably will run 5 lefties and 4 righties out there. He actually has a higher strikeout percentage against lefties than righties. He is just phenomenal, and he's in a good spot.
Yeah, the park will help. He's a massive, massive favorite, the biggest on the slate by a mile. And And there's enough cheap pitching out there that should not keep you from being able to pay up for him. There's no limit to the amount that I would want.
Yeah. 42.4% strikeout percentage against left-handed pitching. Or left-handed hitting.
I knew what you meant. That's craziness.
36.4 against righties. So not like you're.
What's the ISO?
So the ISO to lefties is 182, to righties it's 144, but the expected ISO is 143 to lefties and 116 to righties.
Yeah. Play Garrett Cole. I don't really have any other advice. This is the spot. And you should not struggle at all in fitting him into a lineup because of where pitching lands. What do you think his ownership ends up being? Mid-20s?
Yeah, probably. Maybe like 30.
Okay. Anything lower than that makes me feel great. There's no way we're talking about Royals bats. So let's talk about, do we want to stack up the Astros against Danny Duffy? 5.8 run implied total, one of the higher numbers on the slate. They're expensive. They're probably the anti-optimizer stack.
Yeah, I mean, you can get there with cheap pitching like you were talking about. You know, if you go BD plus your favorite other cheap arm, like you can easily get to the good bats on the Astros. And Duffy's, nothing special, especially against right-handed hitting. He struck out about 18.5% this season, and you have tons of right-handed power here. He's allowed a 199 expected ISO to righties, so lots of upside.
Favorite Astros bat?
Bregman.
Give me Altuve. I mean, Mlb Dfs at 4K with dual eligibility is also kind of interesting if he's in the lineup.
Yeah. Did you see Eddie Money died?
Really?
Yeah.
That's not fun. What went out for Eddie Money? It's a one-way ticket to paradise. Okay, keeping it moving. R.I.P. Eddie Money. Rockies and Padres. Coors game. 6.1 run implied total for the Rocks, 6.4 for the Padres. Jeff Hoffman and Joey Lucchesi. Is there any chance you would play Jeff Hoffman?
No.
Okay. Flat
on some slates, sure, just because like he's cheap and facing the Padres, but there's so many other cheap arms here that I don't feel like I need to take one in Coors.
Completely agree. Let's talk offense. Who do you prefer, Rockies or Padres?
Padres. I think that neither offense is good. Lucchesi's a better pitcher than Hoffman is. Yeah, it's this is one where you're like just stacking it because it's Coors, and I'm not saying that that's like the wrong thing to do or anything, but other than Arenado and Story from Colorado, I don't know. Like, who are you looking at where you're just like, yeah, I really want to roster this guy?
Garrett Hampson, 3K,
No.
3K.
I mean, I agree he's a really good value play.
Yeah,
but
Garrett Hampson looks like a really nice cash game option today.
Yeah, 3K in Court. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Ian Desmond probably 4,300 is. I like that a little bit. Daniel Murphy for 4,300. Happy to get the top three, but I prefer the Pods. Much better value. Love Machado, dual eligibility under 5K. That's about as good as it's going to get for him. Hosmer looking good at 4,700. $3,100 for Austin Hedges. I mean, he's got to be the cash game catcher, right?
Definitely up there, yeah.
Talk to me about the Padres. What do you think?
They suck, but so does Jeff Hoffman, and they're in Coors. So Machado's a really good play. Hosmer, I like. Naylor's fine, and then you just get expensive Will Myers, which is okay. Hedges, I agree with you, is a really good value option. I mean, there's nothing that I like other than they're in Coors and they're facing Hoffman.
Fair enough.
Like, they're a bad offense. They have bad hitters.
Do you assume you are underweight on the Padres?
They'll probably be more popular than I think they should.
What about the Rockies?
Same answer.
Okay. Favorite bat in the whole game?
Trevor Arenado. I think they're like identical.
Okay. I didn't know if you fucked that up or not.
No.
You didn't sell it at all, so I just assumed that you just whiffed on it.
No, I just don't really have a preference.
I prefer Story. So.
But like I think those two are just like far and away better than every other hitter on like in this game.
I'd rather have Machado than both of them.
Really?
I think so.
Why?
Price?
He's like $400 cheaper.
$400. Is it really that outlandish to say that? He could also be played in two separate spots, both of the spots that they can be played in?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, why are we acting like Jeff Hoffman's someone other than Jeff Hoffman?
Oh, I'm not. I'm not. That's the only reason I'm interested in the Padres. I just think that Arenado and Story are like Arenado and Story facing a lefty in Coors is something I like more than Manny Machado.
Dude, you know that I fade Trevor Story against lefties in Coors.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
But no, seriously, I do like the price discount a little bit, and the dual eligibility I think really helps for me for Machado. Look, we're talking about three obviously solid plays here, so we're quibbling, that's for sure. It's not like I don't want Story or Arenado. Don't want it to sound like that, but if I'm ranking them, I'll probably take Machado first. Would you think that Machado has the least amount of ownership of the three?
I don't know. Like I'm having a really hard time gauging where ownership is on this game. It's why it's so hard for me to talk about because like I could see where everyone looks at it the same way I'm looking at it, saying like, God, I really just don't want these hitters. And even though they're, and the only thing good about it is that they're in Coors and they come in underowned, to which point like jam them in.
Yeah.
But I could also see it where they're really cheap and they just pop up on every optimizer and I'm underweight. So like I really have no idea which way right now to go in this game.
I just said I let you guys talk me off of Yu Darvish last night. Was Yu Darvish on the slate?
He was on the early slate, and
okay.
I was not on him because I didn't think he was going to throw 110 pitches after throwing 72 his previous start with Joe Madden saying that they wanted to limit him because they know he's throwing like too many innings this year.
Fantastic stuff.
So yeah, like he was 30% at 10,200 and threw 110 pitches and struck out 14. So
that'll do it. I mean, the way that you said last night, I was like, dude, I don't even remember saying Yu Darvish's name because I didn't. 1, 2, 3, 4 to go. Diamondbacks and Reds. 4.1 run implied total for the Diamondbacks. 4.3 for the Reds. Mike Leake versus Luis Castillo. Leake 30 on Yahoo, 6,900 on FanDuel, 6,600 on DK. Castillo 45, 10-6, and 10-2. On a different day, I would probably have a little bit of interest in Mike Leake just because of the price, but I think that he is just outside of the realm of possibility now with how many guys are cheap. I would like to get to more Luis Castillo. I think he's best on Yahoo at $45. I don't really get the sense that I get him here. I would probably just rather have more Cole.
Yeah, I don't want to get to Leake here just because there's cheaper pitchers. I like Tyler Beede a lot more. And then Castillo, I think that he's just similar to Kershaw, like to the other guys that aren't Cole at the top, where it's a tough strikeout matchup. He certainly has the ability to pick up strikeouts on his own anyway, but he also wastes so many pitches because of his walks in addition to the strikeouts that sometimes it can be tough for him to get, really deep in the games too. So I like Castillo a lot. I just don't, as a pitcher, I just don't think I really like him that much today.
Yeah, we're on the same page here. Offense is kind of unappealing on both sides. I don't really see anybody that I want to grab outside. Josh Van Meter, if he's hitting leadoff, is the flat minimum on Yahoo. I think that's worth pointing out, but I'm not stacking either side. Are you?
Yeah, I don't think this is a spot I really want to get to. It's a good pitcher's park. Like you can get home runs against Leake, but Cincinnati's priced up too. So I think Josh Van Meter is a good value, but I would normally like Suarez and Aquino, but they're both over 5K on a slate where you have hitters in really good spots against bad pitching. So not real sure how much I don't expect to get to much of a game with an 8.5 total in Arizona tonight.
I have the Angels lineup in the Diamondback spot right now, so let me fix that. Oops. clicked that button before I should have, so now we're just going to sit here in silence for a bit. Always fun. I didn't realize I had my other workbook open. Serves me right. I was looking at it and I was like, some of these guys I don't think are on the Diamondbacks. This is not looking correct. Cantor 33 did not realize that formerly known troll of the channel, Sean V, is in here under a burner account normally.
Wait,
How did
what?
we notice? Oh, because the burner account gives out the same garbage. Yeah, it sticks out like a sore thumb. Once you see one person say that 15 different things that we say on the show are abysmal, we can figure it out pretty quickly. So yeah, there's that. Jake, yeah, nope, can just tell by the attitude and delivery. Yeah, exactly. Nailed it. All right. Sheet is back up. Let me just paste over this just to make sure I'm not missing any Diamondbacks since I'm treating them like they're the Angels. Josh Rojas is 3K, so congrats on breaking 3K, I guess. That's all I've got.
Yeah, that's an expensive price tag for him.
Yeah, still a great value though.
Yeah, no question.
3 to go. Angels and Rays. 3.7 run implied total for the Angels, 4.3 for the Rays. Oh, Jake's just running through all of his takes. Vegas is garbage for MLB DFS. Awful take, Josh. Andrew Heaney, Charlie Morton. Heaney, I just don't think today is going to be the day for him. I'm not really going to be interested. Charlie Morton.
I wish he had pitched like any of the previous 3 slates.
Yeah, you and me both. $48 for Morton on Yahoo, $9,600 on FanDuel, $10,600 on DK. I mentioned it earlier. I don't have a ton of interest in Charlie Morton, but if Mike Trout ends up not being in this lineup, Morton becomes way more interesting.
Yeah, I agree completely. You already know Ohtani's out. If you take out Trout, that's like an 18% strikeout guy, and obviously the best hitter in baseball, and replacing him with probably Cole, or I don't even know who they replace him with.
Calhoun is in the lineup right now, as is Justin Upton. I assume they could probably do whatever they need to do, but it's not like they're filling him in with anybody that's like Mike Trout.
Right. Yeah, it's a downgrade, obviously. So that would make a really, really big difference.
Yeah, so I don't really have a take on Morton. If Trout's in the lineup, I'm not really that interested. And if he's not, I'm way more interested. And I don't expect him to get any real ownership. And if Trout ends up out of the lineup, I don't think it's really going to change anything for Morton. So.
Yeah. And the other thing with the Angels, in addition to Trout, is their lineup just tends to vary a lot based on strikeout, like their projected strikeout percentage, because Albert Pujols is like an 11% strikeout guy, and Simmons is down around 8%. So if for whatever reason either or both of those guys end up not in a lineup, it becomes a much, much better matchup like immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good point. Couple decent values on Tampa here. $2,500 Matt Duffy is reasonable for like a cash game play. Jesus Aguilar is $3,100. Do you think that you'll stack up any Rays?
I don't think I'll stack them up. I think I'll use some of them as value. You know, 30. God, I'm on DraftKings. I thought maybe I was on FanDuel. $3,100 Aguilar is really good value against anybody.
Yeah.
He obviously is good, but he does have the platoon advantage, and Haney's allowed about a 180 ISO to righties so far this year. So, you know, certainly some upside at that price point. Tommy Pham's down to 4,300 and Garcia's at 4K. So, you know, maybe mini stacking the right-handed power or using them as high upside one-offs is probably where I'd end up at.
I'm on the same page. Garcia for 4K looks really nice in that leadoff spot. Favorite hitter in the game, Aguilar?
Yeah.
Done. 2 to go.
Yeah, don't sleep on Zunino as a catcher pivot to Hedges also.
Ooh, yeah, 2,600. I like that. Flat minimum on Yahoo as well. Aguilar also $8 on Yahoo. Oh no, here it comes. Mariners and White Sox. 5.1 run implied total for Seattle. 4.4 for the Sox. Yusei Kikuchi going for Seattle. Dylan Covey going for the White Sox. I really like Kikuchi. It's a great strikeout matchup. White Sox are the belle of the ball basically every slate for whatever pitcher they face. They are projected to run out 9 righties as of right now, so we'll see how that goes. And Dylan Covey is the flat minimum on DraftKings, and unfortunately, my top point per dollar pitcher.
Dylan Covey is awful.
Yeah. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And yet, here we are.
Yeah, I mean it's fine. He's 4K. The Mariners aren't a good lineup. Like I'm not going to talk you off of it, and I would expect to get some too. He's just terrible though.
Yeah, it's wholly unappealing. Outside of the fact that Seattle strikes out a lot, and I don't know, but like it's not like Covey strikes anyone out ever.
Yeah, I mean, got to go to page 2 on Fangraphs to find his numbers.
And there's only what 30 of 34 or something today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I don't have starters. Like I don't have it limited to starters. So there's some pitchers on here that have or position players that have higher strikeout percentages.
This
Yeah, I
season,
mean, 14.9% strikeout percentage, 9.6% walk percentage, 5.61 Sierra. It's because he's 4K and there's Garrett Cole and good bats on the slate. That's it.
Yep. How much do you think you have? I know
Not a ton.
Okay. I think I get a ton.
I think with there being so many games, so many offenses to choose from, and enough cheap bats to fill in his value, that I can just get to like not Dylan Covey. So any combination of Aaron Brooks, who is better than Dylan Covey, for a little bit more, or Kikuchi, who I also hate, but I think is better than Covey.
I think I'm going to have so many different combinations of Covey, Brooks, Zimmerman, Kikuchi, Hauser, and Beatty. Yeah. All this talk about all these good arms at the top, and I'm playing the absolute gutter trash.
So the difference for me is that I don't think I'm going to be doing a lot of mixing and matching Beatty. Like I'm going to just be playing Beatty.
Okay.
And then it's going to be, who am I playing Beatty with? So that'll keep the ownership on everyone else a little bit lower.
So that's not out of the realm of possibility for me that Tyler Beatty becomes like my most owned SP1.
Right.
Potentially.
I expect my breakdown to be similar to what it was last night, just with more pitchers, obviously. But where, I had 90% Tyler Mahle, and then I paired him with, Verlander in a bunch of lineups. I paired him with some Bailey. I paired him with some, everyone else down at the bottom. I kind of expect the same thing here, where it's Beatty, and then I get some Cole Beatty lineups on cheaper stacks, but I also get some Beatty Kikuchi, some Beatty Brooks, but Beatty is just there.
Yeah. This one's yucky, man. Real yucky. How much you like Kikuchi more than Covey here?
I like him more than Covey. I would like a bullpen catcher pitching more than Covey, so not high praise.
Okay.
I'm kind of surprised the White Sox only have a 4.4 implied run total. Kikuchi's just not very good, and the White Sox do have right-handed power. Like Anderson, Moncada, Abreu, Jimenez, McCann, Castillo actually scares me. But there are strikeouts in the lineup. He is cheap. The park is favorable for pitchers. It's supposed to be like 63 degrees. So I'm fine taking a shot on him, but again, it's just not with any confidence.
Yeah. Do you want offense in this game on either side? I mean, you just kind of touched on the White Sox.
If Kikuchi, if either one gets ownership, I think the opposing offense becomes interesting. But I do actually like the White Sox. Like Abreu, these guys have power. They're not super expensive. The only thing that is disappointing is that the hitting conditions are just so bad in Seattle. Like it's 63 degrees in a park that already doesn't favor hitters. That's putting yourself, obviously we've talked about it before, where there's going to be more home runs here than there were in the past just because of the baseballs, but that's the case for every park. So it kind of evens out, and you still have, a game in Toronto, a game in Texas, a game in Coors, where the hitters are just in such better spots.
I'm with you. Favorite bat in the game?
Jimenez. Or Wellington Castillo at 3,300.
Yeah, I was just about to beat you to that one, but you beat me. Dude, every day I type in the Mariners name, and every day I don't recognize like 2 of the names that are in their lineup. It's crazy.
Yet Tyler Mahle can't get them out.
Giants and Marlins, final game of this lovely 13-game slate. Tyler Beatty Sandy Alcantara, Beatty, $32 on Yahoo, $5,700 on FanDuel, and $6,300 on DraftKings. He might be the play of the day in combination of like price and value. I'm a big fan here. Gets the Marlins. Should see 7 righties. He's been fantastic against right-handed hitters this season. I'm with you. Let's get a ton of Beatty.
Yeah, it's like one of the only pitchers I've actually been excited to talk about on the slate because so many of them have had like mediocre matchups or spots where I can't really distinguish them from the pitchers priced around them in either direction. But for me, that's not the case with Beatty. Perfect, best pitcher spark in baseball, facing the worst offense in Miami. Like you said, they're going to have 6 or 7 righties in the lineup, including the pitcher. Beatty against right-handed hitters this year struck out 24.8% compared to 16.1 against lefties. He's given up power to righties with a 219 expected ISO, but that's not really much of a concern when you're in this park and the righties are the guys that are on the Marlins. There's a chance that the Marlins run out a lineup that's not great for strikeouts by their standards, like if it has Miguel Rojas and Ramirez and Castro, but it's still going to be an above average strikeout spot compared to other teams, especially if Alfaro is in the lineup. Hopefully we get Lewis Brinson in the lineup because that is always great. It's just a really good spot for Beatty, and the price tag's affordable. I expect him to be my highest owned pitcher, and I don't think it'll be that close.
I'm on the same page with you. I hope that I get a ton. I'm anxious to see how it shakes out on dummy crunches. You want any Sandy at 8,100?
No, if he was cheaper, I would, but
it's a good spot. Like, if I saw him showing up, I'm not freaking out, but I have a hard time believing that he can pay that 8,100 off unless he does one of those 9-inning games that he ran out there a couple days ago.
Yeah, I mean, why am I paying $8,100 for a guy with a 7.3 K minus BB percentage and a 5.4 SIERA?
Yeah, you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be. And I can't imagine that we're paying for any bit of offense in this game.
Brandon Belt's really cheap, but even among value first basemen, I'd rather go to Aguilar.
Yeah. That's it. Tyler Beatty Day, everybody. Obviously. Perfect time to hit the like button considering this show is over. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. As I mentioned out of the gate, Manny Laura, Chris Randone coming up in 20 minutes, talking some Fantasy Cruncher for NFL Week 2. We'll have the betting show with Jordan and Ben at noon. Yahoo Strategy with the boss man Alex Baker and Nolan Kelly at 4. Deeper Dive at 5. Live Before Lock at 6. And my Sanity coming back at 7:05. Lots going on tomorrow. Soccer projections are already posted for Saturday's EPL slate. We'll have MMA content coming up for Donald Cerrone, Justin Gaethje, and then NFL Sunday. Lots going on, everybody. Lots going on. Adam, anything else?
Nope.
There it is, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We will talk to you later.